everyone. Welcome back to the layout. The Union Pacific Railroad Evanston subdivision in HO scale. My name is Daryl Cruz, owner and builder of the layout, and your host for episode 32 of season 2024. Did quite a bit this week. Added scenery around Interstate 84. Did some weathering on this bridge, which I think turned out pretty good. Painted Interstate 84. And added guardrails, a bunch of stuff. Definitely interested and excited about sharing it with you. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you are interested in receiving more great videos like this. This is how it looked at the beginning of the week. If you saw last week's video update for last Sunday, this is where things looked. We had the scenery plaster in, was short a little bit on the scenery plaster. Was able to get that in this week. The surface of Interstate 84 was simply the hardboard. Didn't look like a interstate at all. Yeah, just simply had some jersey barriers here to kind of show how things were going to look. And definitely had quite a bit yet to do. So was pretty excited about getting this together and making it look more and more like an interstate. I think I'm pretty close to getting it to where it's ready to go, and hopefully moving on to the next section. Here's some more plaster that I also needed to add. Back in the dark corner there is, of course, going to be the Devil's Slide area. That's going to be a real challenge. Now, one of the first things I did at the beginning of the week was I wanted to reinforce this hardboard, because it basically was a pretty, 12-inch span, 12 by 12, and kind of wanted to give it some rigidity. So I got some 3/8-inch plywood and used some Elmer glue to put in two pieces, clamped it on there so that it was not something that was going to warp. I've been always a little concerned about this hardboard. It's only 1/8 of an inch thick, and was a little concerned with it possibly warping at some point. So far, so good. All right, once I got that in place, then I went ahead and painted the rails using dark brown spray paint. Actually used a kind of a rust color first from the sides, and then the brown from on top. For the concrete ties, I used a off-white color for that. All right, once I got that painted, then I masked it off, and then I was a little concerned about this curve here. This is a pretty important part of this looking like an actual overpass. If you notice, it wasn't a real steady curve there. You can actually see some of the pencil marks where my jigsaw abilities shown through, or lack of jigsaw abilities. So I wanted to get that curved out a little bit better. Same thing on this side. Again, you can see the pencil marks and where it actually got cut. So it wasn't too good. This is after using the little Sure Foam tool there, and used that to kind of scrape it off and got a nice smooth curve. Just really felt like that was going to be important for making this look like an interstate overpass. Excuse me. You notice I do have the I-beam in place at that point. Then I went ahead and spray painted this aprons, the concrete aprons, the abutments, and I also painted the I-beams as well. This is what I use. This is matte glacier gray Krylon. Got this from Hobby Lobby of all places. They also have it at Lowe's. Got some more spray paint from them. find out that they have free delivery, free same-day delivery on even a couple of items for less than $10. They'll come out and deliver it. I don't know if that's true in your location, but here in the Chicagoland area, my Lowe's will bring it out to you for free, so it works out pretty good. But anyway, I spray painted it, and I spray painted the I-beams as well, because looking at the prototype of the interstate in that area, I kind of went around on Street View and found an overpass that had the I-beams instead of concrete, and they were painted concrete color. So I wanted to be consistent with that. I touched up that a little bit also, and if you notice, I also did some work on covering up the screws on the fascia. And got that sanded off and painted. Now, I was going to ballast the track, and I knew once I had the track ballast, I wouldn't be able to remove the bridges anymore. So I decided to go ahead and weather the bridges, because I didn't want to weather them when they were in place. I wanted to do some spraying with them. Now this is not the bridge. This is some cheap cars I got off of eBay once. I don't like them, but I thought they'd be good test models. And I am using this 5-in-1 spray paint from Rust-Oleum, and using that to weather. And here you can see how it goes on. The one reason why I'm trying this is because the 5-in-1 has 3 different settings for spraying, 1, 2, and 3. And it basically gives it a, if you go on the finest setting, it's kind of a real nice mist. And it actually does a pretty good job on weathering. You still have to go make your passes fairly quick, because it will put on too much if you go slowly. But it does mist it on quite nicely, so that it does pretty well. Now here you can see I went ahead, after I tested it on those cars, I went ahead and put it on the bridges. You can see the one on top is unweathered. The one on the bottom is weathered. Now they're side by side. But I did the dark brown from underneath, along the bottom and underneath, and then did the driftwood, which was more of kind of a dust color, and did that from top, and sprayed it top down. And it actually I thought did a pretty good job. So I did that just as the basic weathering, and then after I put them in place, I also did some weathering with some powders. These are from Ammo. They're pigment powders that rust, earth, and metal slag. Got these at Lombard Hobbies. They have the full supply of paint and pigments from Ammo, A-M-M-O. So these are powders. I also got some washes too. I didn't use the washes. I just used the powders. Actually, I did this weathering with the powders off of the layout. So once I did the weathering, the spraying of the spray paint, and then the chalks or the pigment powders, did that, and then I installed them, and then I did a little bit more after it was installed, did some touch up. But I think it turned out pretty good. Those bridges on the prototype are weathered like crazy. They're got tons of rust on them. All right, then I went ahead and did the rest of the plastering and put the ground cover on as per usual. And then I painted the roadway of the interstate using the Woodland Scenic Subterranean paint, concrete and asphalt. Got these at Lombard Hobbies as well. And I mixed it. I took the concrete and added a little bit of black to it just to darken it up a little bit. I didn't want it to be as light as it was, so just a little bit darker than out of the tube. And it comes out, I think, looking pretty good for a concrete interstate. Then for the railings, I used these modern highway overpass railings from Rick's Products. And it's designed to go over an overpass and along the edge. So that's what I used on here. Now he has some Walther's Jersey rails on there on the end, but then here I put in the Rick's Products guardrails, concrete overpass guardrails, and it matches the color matches the concrete that I use for spraying the abutments and so forth. And I decided to go ahead and go all along here. And I'm gonna have to put some foliage under there so it doesn't look like the concrete's just hanging there in midair. But I really like these guardrails. It came out looking pretty sharp, I think. Definitely looks like a fairly modern highway overpass. This is on the, you won't actually see this part here because I had to really reach my camera over the edge there. And then here I had to do some scraping of the plaster and so forth before I put these on. These are the Jersey rails from Walther's. I just glued those on as well. I just used super glue for all these. Now here I was trying to get the two pieces to line up, so I glued it and then held it in place with the little clamp there. But was real happy with the color, and I think it's going to look even better once it's lined and then also weathered. Here you see I've already touched up the plaster there a little bit. You have to add some more ballast there also. And then I put in the Jersey rails down the middle to kind of show how the lanes are going to work. So you basically, that's going to go into a mirror right there. Now there's a little sightseeing off-ramp there. So that's what that's on the very left there is going to be a lane where cars can turn off of the expressway and take pictures of the Devil's Slide, which is back in that the corner there. I have yet to put that in, but I wanted to include that so we'll have some tourists taking pictures of Devil's Slide, and then you have the two lanes going through. Now here's where the mirror is going to go. The mirror is going to go right here. It's going to go at a 90-degree angle, and then there's going to be a just hardboard right there with some blue sky. You notice I have a tree there. I'm going to put trees all across there, so that'll kind of block the view of the. You should be seeing a road there, but you won't be. But the mirror is going to do a good job of making it look like the roadway goes into the wall, but you don't have an end to it. But I was really happy with the way this turned out. This is definitely is a good job of. I have to straighten out some of those pylons a little bit yet too, I noticed. But the lanes are wide enough there for shoulders on both sides, and then two lanes. And this is how the whole scene looks. Have a train going across on the top side. I still need to put some backdrops in as well. I'm kind of waiting until I get myself out to Evanston Sub, which I'm going to be doing here pretty quickly. I've got my drone all ready. I'm going to be taking some nice pictures in that area to use for backdrops right in through here, and then also into the rest of the scenery that needs to be done. There you have the Wholesome Cement area and so on, and down to Echo Canyon. I still need to put lines on the interstate. Here's how the whole scene looks. Still need to put lines on the interstate. Also, I have some vinyl tape, 1/16 inch wide vinyl tape that I'm gonna be using for that. So there'll be the white line separating the right shoulder from the right lane, and then the dashed line to separate the two lanes, and then the yellow line to separate the left lane from the left shoulder, and then you'll have the Jersey rail separating the two lanes of traffic, eastbound from westbound, and then you have the yellow, the dash line, and then the white, and then finally the shoulder. So it's going to look pretty cool. I was a little worried that the white would not show up very well on this paint, but actually I checked it out, and it does look pretty good. It shows up. I was worried about it showing up. I thought it might be hard to see, but it looks fine. And here the train is going through. This is a local here. So getting closer and closer. And this next week coming up, I want to put the mirror in and get the lines on the expressway, and hopefully get a start on the double slide that's going to go in the corner there. The backdrop's not going to be for a few weeks yet. That won't happen until I get out to Evanston. I bought a drone for $95 and been practicing it in my backyard, and kind of have been going on Google Earth and planning out where I'm going to stop along the Evanston sub to get some good pictures for backdrops here at the interstate and the bridges going over Weber River, and then also going to use it for the backdrop at Wholesome Cement. And I may replace some different places as well, some different backdrops. I might replace the ones at Morgan, possibly some other ones too. But all right, here we have stack train going in the other direction. This is how it looks. You can see the little pylon there, about 2/3 of the way down. It's kind of leaning. Those are pylons from Rick's again. Rick's has really come through with some pretty good scratch building, or kit bashing, whatever you want to call it. These bridges look pretty good too. One thing I'm going to have to add to the bridges yet is the guardrails. So I'll be doing that this coming week also. So guardrails on the bridges, lines on the road, and a start on the double slide geographical or geological formation, I should say. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Make sure you like the video if you haven't yet. Always appreciate comments, and become a member. That would be great. Support of the channel and the future project progress on the layout. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great week. Take care.